Paano ba maglagay? Wow! Monetizations. Hello guys, ayan. Still on the game. Nag-love shoutout guys. Nawawala-wala ako guys. Hello sa aking dalawang ano dyan. Dalawang viewers dyan. Maraming salamat.
Iniisip ko pala, lahat ng hinahanap mo. Free shipping vouchers! दिल मेरा ते दिल मेरे दे दिल दा जानिए खसमा खानी पीड़ ही बस बेगानी पीड़ा मुक गईयां सारियां वे पीड़ दिल दी रह गई है पीड़ा मुक गईयां सारियां वे पीड़ दिल दी रह गई है तेनू याद करन दी वे हाय ਤੈਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਵੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਦਤ ਪੈ ਗਈ ਏ ਪੀੜਾਂ ਮੁੱਕ ਗਈਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੇ
Malabo guys.
ਪੀੜਾਂ ਮੁੱਕ ਗਈਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੇ ਪੀੜ ਦਿਲ ਦੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਏ ਖਾਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਖੋਲ ਕੇ ਵੇਖ ਲਿਆ, ਪੁੱਠਾ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਟੋਲ ਕੇ ਵੇਖ ਲਿਆ, ਦਿਲ ਦਾ ਹਰ ਖਾਨਾ ਮੈਂ ਹਾਏ ਖੋਲ ਕੇ ਵੇਖ ਲਿਆ, ਪੁੱਠਾ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਟੋਲ ਕੇ ਵੇਖ ਲਿਆ, ਦਿਲ ਚੀਰ ਕੇ ਵੇਖਣ ਦੀ ਦਿਲ ਚੀਰ ਕੇ ਵੇਖਣ ਦੀ ਬਸ ਨੌਬਤ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਏ, ਪੀੜਾਂ ਮੁੱਕ ਗਈਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੇ, ਪੀੜ ਦਿਲ ਦੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਏ, ਪੀੜਾਂ ਮੁੱਕ ਗਈਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੇ, ਪੀੜ ਦਿਲ ਦੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਏ। ਕੋਈ ਪੁੱਛਦਾ ਦਿਲ ਦਾ ਹਾਲ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਦੀ ਨਾ ਭੇਦ ਖੁੱਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਸੀ ਵੇ, ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਹੱਸਦੀ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਪੁੱਛਦਾ ਦਿਲ ਦਾ ਹਾਲ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਦੀ ਨਾ ਭੇਦ ਖੁੱਲ ਜਾਣਾ ਸੀ ਵੇ, ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਹੱਸਦੀ ਨਾ ਹਰ ਵੇਲੇ ਹੱਸ ਲੈਣ ਦੀ ਹਰ ਵੇਲੇ ਹੱਸ ਲੈਣ ਦੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਦਤ ਪੈ ਗਈ ਏ, ਪੀੜਾਂ ਮੁੱਕ ਗਈਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੇ, ਪੀੜ ਦਿਲ ਦੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਏ, ਪੀੜਾਂ ਮੁੱਕ ਗਈਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੇ, ਪੀੜ ਦਿਲ ਦੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਏ। ਪੱਕੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰੀ ਉਮਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਬਣੀ, ਹਾਏ ਦੀਪ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੰਦਰਿਆ ਵੇ, ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕਰਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਯਾਦ ਬੜੀ, ਉਹ ਪੱਕੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰੀ ਉਹ ਪੱਕੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੇਰੀ ਉਮਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਬਣੀ, ਹਾਏ ਦੀਪ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੰਦਰਿਆ ਵੇ, ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕਰਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਯਾਦ ਬੜੀ, ਬਸ ਯਾਦ ਤੇਰੀ ਭੁੱਲ ਰਾਵੇ, ਬਸ ਯਾਦ ਤੇਰੀ ਭੁੱਲ ਰਾਵੇ, ਸਾਡੇ ਪੱਲੇ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਏ, ਪੀੜਾਂ ਮੁੱਕ ਗਈਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੇ, ਪੀੜ ਦਿਲ ਦੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਏ, ਪੀੜਾਂ ਮੁੱਕ ਗਈਆਂ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਵੇ, ਪੀੜ ਦਿਲ ਦੀ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਏ।
Mega Love shout out. Banana Suti. Bigyan kita ng jacket. Hello ma'am, kamusta na po? Nabigyan naman kita ng jacket, ma'am. May jacket ka na ba, ma'am? Mama B, is that you? Sorry. Banana smoothie. Hindi kita mahulan. Nagbabasa lang kasi ako ng ano, ng libro. Mega love shoutout sa aking 5 million in the house. Do you know me? Sirit na. Sirit na. Sirit na. Sirit na. Wow. Maingay. Ah, si Ma'am Nelly. Ma'am Nelly Lowy. Maaga po kasi alis ko bukas. Kaya nag-try lang po muna ako na ano. Nag-try lang po ako mag-LS kasi madaling araw po biyahe ko bukas. Alin po ma'am? Alin? Off mo isang CP ko? Ito po, busy. May binabasa po. I mean, mute ko. Mama Nelly Low ito. Mega love shoutout, Mami Nelly Lowy. Ito, busy po kasi ako dahil may ano ako bukas. May orientation ako. So nag-try lang ako, hindi ko alam, pangalawang subok ko ulit na mag-LS. Hindi ko na alam kasi mag-LS. Kamusta na po, Mami Nelly? Sorry po, naging busy po kasi talaga na ako eh. Alas 3 po, madaling araw, alis ko bukas. May rin akong orientation sa isang client namin sa Laguna. So, ayan, habang magbasa ako ng konti para bukas sa ready na sa bakbakan kung may laman yung utak ko. Kaya maraming salamat sa aking 5 million in the house, especially sa iyo, Ma'am Nelly Lowy. Regards sa kanilang lahat. Ayan, at lagi po akong busy. So yung mga ina-upload ko din na videos ko mga stock videos lang 'yon. Kaya basa-basa lang ako ng konti. Ay, salamat po talaga, Ma'am Nili. Maraming salamat po. Ayan nyo po, pagka talagang nakalugar na ako. Pati po pala yung mga membership ko, sorry din. At wala na rin po akong GCash. Hindi ko na rin po naayos lahat. Yung analytics ko, puro pula na. Maraming salamat po sa tulong. Babalik din po ako. Kaso nga lang di po ba kailangan kahit papaano medyo parang ayan, nawawala-wala po yung ano ko, yung net ko. Babasa na lang po ako. No, ay, wala na akong viewers. Subukan ko lang. May viewers man o wala, pero thankful ako, Ma'am Nelly Lowy, at nandyan po kayo na always supporting me for my journey. Yan. Okay. Section number 32, implementations of security requirements. Notwithstanding the effective date of these rules, the requirements in the preceding section shall be implemented before any off-site or online access request is approved. Any data sharing agreement between a source agency and another government agency shall be subject to review of the commissions on its own initiative or upon complaint of data subject. So, English. So, iwan ko lang kung naiintindihan ko. Well, good luck. No? Section number 33, applicability to government contractors in entering into any contract with a private service provider that may involve accessing or requiring sensitive personal informations from 1,000 or more individuals. A government agency shall require such service provider and its employees to register their personal data processing system with the Commission's in accordance with the Act and these rules. The service provider, as personal information processor, shall comply with the other provisions of the Act and these rules. Particularly the immediately preceding sections, similar to a government agency and its employees. Rule number 8, rights of data subject. Section 34, rights of the data subject. The data subject is entitled to the following rights. Right to be informed. The data subject has a right to be informed whether personal data pertaining to him or her shall be or being or have been processed, including the existence of automated decision making and profiling. Mega love shout out Idol Rui. Ayan, good afternoon. Para kang pastor today. I'm just reading my books for tomorrow's kasi bukas 3 o'clock in the morning going to Laguna ako sa client, so I have an orientation tomorrow. So, mega love shout out Idol Rui na. Domohai, arigato gozaimasu. Mega love shout out Ma'am Nelly Lowy. The data subject shall be notified and furnished with information indicating hereunder before the entry of his or her personal data into the processing system of the personal information controller or at the next practical opportunity. Descriptions of the personal data to be entered into the system, purposes for which they are being or in will be processed, including processing for direct marketing, profiling, or historical, statistical, or scientific purpose. Basis of processing when processing is not based on the consent of the data subject. Scope and method of the personal data processing, the recipient or classes of recipient to whom the personal data are or may be disclosed. Methods utilized for automated access if the same is allowed by the data subject. At the extent to which such access is authorized, including meaningful information about the logic involved, as well as the significance and the envisaged and consequences of such processing for the data subject. Pastor talaga, Ma'am Rowie, the identity and contact details of the personal data controller or each representative. The period for which the information will be stored and the existence of their rights as data subjects, including the right to access, correction, and object to the processing, as well as the right to lodge a complaint before the commission. Ayan guys, so wala akong no, I'm not do feeling so sad. So, I mean, I do have 3 million in house. So, thank you everyone for watching. So, ayan, maybe you can listening what I'm reading from my book. Well, this is an unexpected live. Ang hirap ouch. Ang hirap mag-aral guys. So, ayan. Well, I do my best. Mega love shout out, Shelo Lagahit. Ayan, yung aking kapatid sa aking ama. Mega love shout out sa'yo. Bigyan kita ng jacket, Shelo. Tomorrow morning, I have an orientations tomorrow. So, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna off here from the office and going to Laguna. So, I have an orientation tomorrow. So, that's why I am here. So, this is an unexpected live stream today. So, I'm just reading my book for preparing my orientations. So, mega love shout outs for my 5 million in the house, especially to my brother Nelson, sister Chilo Lagahit. Okay, guys, thank you and God bless everyone. Mega love shout out everyone for having here to my live stream. So, well, I'm just continue reading for my book, preparing for tomorrow's my orientation. So you have to listen carefully if you are willing to. So descriptions of the personal data to be entered into the system, purposes for which they are being or will be processed, including processing for direct marketing, profiling for historical, statistical, or scientific purpose. Basis of processing, when processing is not based on the contents of the data. Subject, scope, and method of the personal data processing. A recipient or classes of recipient to whom the personal data are or maybe disclosed. So, ayan, already have given you a jacket, Shilo Lagahit. So, you can drop your link if you are willing to. And thank you for dropping here. Where am I? Methods utilized for automated access if the same is allowed by the data subject and the extent to which such access is authorized, including meaningful informations about the logic involved, as well as the significance and invasive consequences of processing for the data subject. So, ayan guys, may lamok. The identity and contact details of the personal data controller or its representative, the period for which the information will be stored, and um, the existence of their rights as data subjects, including the right to access corrections in object to the processing, as well as the right to lodge a complaint before the commission. Right to the object, the data subject shall have the right to object to the processing of his or her data, personal data, including processing for direct marketing, automated well, automated processing or profiling. The data subject shall also be notified and given an opportunity to withhold consents to the processing in case of changes or any amendments to the information supplied for declared to the data subject in preceding paragraph. When a data subject or objects withholds consents to personal information's controller shall no longer process the personal data unless the personal data is needed for issuance to a subpoena. Am I right? So you have to listen carefully, guys, what I'm seeing and what I am reading for from a book. The collections and processing are for obvious purposes, including when it is necessary for the performance of or in relations to a contract or service to which the data subject is a party, or when necessary um, or desirable in the context of an employee relationship between the controller and the data subject, or the information is being collected and processed as a result of a legal obligations. Right to access the data subject has the right to reasonable access to upon demand the following: we have the contents of his or her personal data that were processed, sources from which personal data were obtained, names and addresses of recipients of the personal data, manner, um, by which such data are processed. Reasons for the disclosures of the personal data to recipients, if any. Informations on automated processes where the data will or is likely to be made as the sole basis for any decision that significantly affects and will affect the data subject. Date when his or her personal data concerning the data subject were last accessed, modified, and the designations, name or identity, address of the personal information's controller. To rectifications, the data subject has the right to dispute the inaccuracy or error in the personal data and have the personal information's controller correct if immediately and accordingly unless the request to vexatious or otherwise unreasonable. If the personal data has been corrected, the personal information's controller shall ensure the accessibility of both the new and the retracted information and the simultaneous receipt of the new of the retract informations by the intended recipients thereof, provided the recipients or third parties who have previously received such processed personal data shall be informed of its inaccuracy and its rectifications upon reasonable requests of the data subject. Right of erasures or blocking the data subject shall have no right to suspend, withdraw or order the blocking, remove or destructions of his or her data from the personal information controllers filing system. This right may be exercised upon discovery and substantial proof of any of the following: the personal data is incomplete, outdated, false, or unlawfully obtained. The personal data is being used for purpose not authorized by the data subject. Mm, withdraws consents for objects to the processing, and there is no other legal ground to um, over overriding a legitimate interest for the processing. The personal data concerns private information that is prejudicial to data subject unless justified by freedom of speech of expressions of the press or otherwise authorized. The processing is unlawful. The personal information controller or personal information processor violated the rights of the data subject. The personal information controller may notify third parties who have previously received such a process personal information, right, to damages the data subject shall be um, indemnified for any damages sustained due to such inaccurate and incomplete, outdated, false, unlawfully obtained or unauthorized use of personal data, taking into account any violations of his or her rights and freedoms as a data subject. Section 35, transferability, transferability of rights of the data subject. The lawful heirs and assigns of the data subject may invoke the rights of the data subject to which he or she is an heir. Um, Mega love shout out Ma'am Nili Maureen. I'm here now. May I'm expecting because tomorrow morning uh, I'm going to drop by at Laguna area for my orientation. So I have leave here in 3 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, guys. So mega love shout out at maraming salamat sa inyong pagpunta. Thank you and good evening. And God bless everyone. Have a blessed Friday, everyone, guys. So you can drop your link, your house. So maybe should someone can make love to you, o di ba? So well, I'm here in a session 35. If you wanted to stay on my channel, so kung di po kayo naboboring, so I'm just reading my book for my orientation tomorrow, guys. So you have to listen. So wala po akong ibang gagawin kasi ngayon kundi mag-review for the orientation tomorrow. So hindi, don't expect me to make a kuda-kuda or make tawa-tawa today. So, well, section number 35, transferability of rights of the data subject, the lawful heirs and assigns of the data subject may invoke the rights of the data subject to which he or she is on heir or assigning at any time after the death of the data subject, or when the data subject is incapacitated or incapable or exercising the rights as enumerated in the immediately preceding sections. So, we approaching to the section 36, right, to the data portability. So, here his or here personal data is processed by electronic means and in a structured and commonly used format. The data subject shall have the right to obtain from the personal information controller of such data in electronic or structured format that is commonly used and allows for further use by the data subject. The exercise of this right shall primarily take into account the right of data subject to have control over his or her personal data being processed based on consent or contract for commercial purpose or through automated means. The commission may specify the electronic format referred to above, as well as the technical standards, um, modalities, procedures, and other rules for their transfer. So we approaching to the section number 7, limitations on rights. The immediately preceding sections shall not be applicable if the process personal data are used only for uh, the needs of scientific and statistical research, and on the regarding the activities are carried out and no decisions are taken regarding the data subject, provided that the personal data shall be held under the strict confidentiality and shall be used only for the declared purpose. These sections are all to the processing of personal data gathered for the purpose of investigations in relations to any criminal, administrative, or tax liabilities of a data. Any limitations on the rights of the data subject shall only be the minimum extent necessary to achieve purpose of such research in or investigations. So, mega love shout out to my 5 million views in the house. So, for the 7 million suckers, guys, thank you for dropping to my house. Have a blessed Friday, everyone. Thank you. So, we are approaching to the rule number 9. Um, data breach notifications, section 38, data breach notifications. The commissions and affected data subject shall be notified by the personal information control within 72 hours upon knowledge or when there is reasonable belief by the personal information controller or a personal information processor that personal data which are requiring notifications so has occurred. That's it. So guys, thank you for dropping once again. Thank you so much, and God bless everyone. So mega love. Shout out for my only 5 million in the house, but I am also contented, guys. Thank you, and God bless for dropping here. Um, so sandali lang naman to, guys. So ayan. So notifications of a personal data breach shall be required when sensitive personal information or any other informations that may under the circumstances be used to enable identity fraud are reasonably believed to have been acquired by an unauthorized person, and the personal information controller or the commission believes that such an authorized acquisitions is likely to give rise to a real risk serious to anything affected the data subject. Depending on the natures of the incidents or if there is a delay or a failure to notify, the commissions may investigate the circumstances surrounding the personnel data breach investigations may include on-site examination systems and procedures. So, section number 39, contents of notification. The notification shall at least describe the natures of the breach, the personal data possibly involved, and the measures taken by the entity to address the breach. The notification shall also include measures taken to reduce the harm or negative consequences of the breach. The representatives of the personal negative consequences of the breach, information controller, including their contact details from uh, whom the data subject can obtain additional information about the breach and any assistance to be provided to the affected subject data. Well, mega love shout out, Princess Rodriguez. So, dito ako basa-basa lang, reading lang. So, ayan. Section 40, delay of notifications. Notification may be delayed. Only the extents are necessary to determine. Mega love shout out, Mrs. Rodriguez. The scope of the breach to prevent further disclosures or to restore reasonably integrity to information and communications system. In evaluating of if notification is unwarranted, the commissions may be take into account compliance by the personal information controller with this section and existence of good faith in the equations of personal data. The commissions may exempt the personal information controller from notifications where, in its reasonable judgment, such notifications would not be in the public interest or in the interest of the affected data subject. The commissions may authorize postponement of notifications where um, it may hinder hinder the progress of a criminal investigations related to a serious breach. So, Miguel Lab shout out for the 6 million in the house. Still watching from my small channel. Thank you guys. Have a blessed once again Friday in the afternoon, in the evening. Today, the Philippine Standard Time is 28 minutes after 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Thank you for your dropping here tonight. Thank you guys. So, we are proceeding to the section 41 breach report. Thank you and God bless my my siblings Sheila Lagahit. So we approaching to the section 41's breach of contract. The personal information controller shall notify the commissions by submitting report whether written or electronic containing the required contents of notifications. The report shall also include the name of the designated representative of the personal information controller and his or her contact details. All security incidents and personal breaches shall be documented through the written reports, including those not covered by the notifications required. Um, Requirements. In the case of the personal data breaches, report shall include the facts surrounding an incident, the effects of such incident, and the remedial actions taken by the personal information controller uh, in other security incidents or not involving personal data. A report containing aggregated data shall be made available when requested by the this report shall be made available when requested by the commission. A general summary of the reports shall be submitted to the commissions annually. So guys, we already submitted to the commissions or the national um, uh, Filipino commissions annual. We are required to submit. So we are guys approaching to the section 42 procedure for notifications. The procedures for which notifications shall be in accordance with the act. These rules, other issuance of the commissions. Rule number 9, outsourcing and subcontracting agreements. Section number 43, subcontract personal data. A personal information controller may subcontract or outsource the processing of personal data provided that the personal information controller shall use contractual or other reasonable means to ensure that proper safeguards are in place to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the personal data process, prevent its use for unauthorized purposes, and generally comply with the requirements of the Act. These rules and other applicable laws for processing of personal data and other issuances of the commissions. Okay, okay, mega love shout out my siblings, Sheila Lagahit. God bless. Thank you for dropping me out. Thank you, thank you. Uh, Kindly extend my best regards to Tita. So, well, we approaching to the section 44 agreement for outsourcing, processing by the personal informations. Procedure shall be governed by a contract or other legal act that binds the personal information processor to the personal information controller. The contract or legal act shall set out of the subject matter and durations of the processings, the natures and the purpose of the processing, the type of personal data and categories of the data, uh, subject, the obligations and the rights of the personal informations, controllers and the geographic locations of the processing under the subcontracting agreement. So guys, pagdating ng 1 hour, so I'm gonna shut it off kasi nag-try lang ako. Kailangan ko lang kasi mag temporarily LS today for in the interest of my YT. So the contract or another legal act shall stipulate in a particular that the personal information processor shall process the personal data only upon of the personal information controller, including personal data to the other country or an international organizations, unless such a transfer is authorized by law. Ensure that the obligations of confidentiality is imposed on the persons authorized to process the personal data, implement appropriate security measures, and comply with the Act, these rules, and other issuance of the commissions. Not engage another possessors without proper instructions from the personal information controller provided that any such arrangement shall ensure that the same obligations for data protections under the contract or legal obligations for data protections under the contract or legal or act are implemented taking into account the natures of the processing. Assist the personal information controller by appropriate technical and organizational measures and to the extent possible fulfill the obligations to respond to requests by data subject relation relative to the exercise of the rights. Personal information controller in ensuring compliance with the Act, this rules, other relevant laws, and other issuance of the commissions, taking into account the natures of processing and the information available to the personal information processor. Other choice, one, two, three. Okay. Other choice of the personal information controller, delete or return all personal data to the personal information controller after the end of the provisions of services relating to the processing provided. That this includes deleting existing copies unless storage is authorized by the Act or another law. Information necessary to demonstrate compliance with the obligations laid down in the Act and uh, allow for and contribute to including inspections conducted with the personal information controller or another auditor mandated by the latter. Oh my god. So I already have few minutes left, guys. Immediately inform the personal information controller if it is an instructions in things that as this rules or any issuance of commissions. So guys, here I am. So section number 45, duty of the information processor. The personal information processor shall comply with the requirements of the Act. These rules are applicable laws and other issuances of the commissions in addition to the obligations provided into the contract or other legal acts with a personal information controller. So guys, thank you for dropping here. So I'm gonna end this LS. At least nakapag LS ako ng 1 hour. So guys, thank you and God bless. Bye bye. Uh-huh. Oh my God.